Hello, Tiger basketball fans. A new week of Tiger Timeout on the Campbellsville University Sports Network. Matt Payton with you as we regroup after the snowy, weathery, wintry conditions, whatever you want to call them. Coach Ginger High-Colvin of the Lady Tigers joins me. And Coach, we were trying to get back into a rhythm. We had the holiday. You missed a week. We had Miranda Denny in, and
Yes.
all the bright lights and the superstar status from Miranda Denny join us, and then the weather hit. So it's been a while. Are you out of practice? You know what goes on here?
I am out of practice. And I didn't even tell Miranda Denny that we had this today because she would want to come back. She loves the bright lights.
Flattened a tire or siphon gas, something like that,
Yes.
to make sure she was here.
It has been a while. I was thinking when I was sitting here, who did we talk about last? So
It's been before the Christmas break, before Miami and Puerto Rico, which seems like a lifetime ago. And
it does.
You've hit the Mid-South Conference schedule now, wide open. We didn't get to discuss the wins on the road against Cumberland and Cumberland, and briefly, I know there's a lot of water under the bridge since then, sleepless nights perhaps, but a pair of road wins in the Mid-South Conference, tough to come by. To start your play with road games is always a challenge, and to make it even tougher, the first one against a top 15 opponent in Cumberland.
That's just one where they're always going to try to get you, and that's a big rivalry game for us. So we went over. I think they're as talented as any team in the country, and we stepped up to the challenge, and I thought played very well. Was really pleased with that road win. Any win in the Mid-South is a good win, and then especially a road win is a good win.
And then Cumberland University is a program that's really kind of got some wild stuff going on, just the way that their coaching setup is currently constructed, and some changes that will come down the line. But to Coach Scott Bloom's credit, they really got after you guys on that Saturday, and played to a tighter game in terms of the score than what it ended up being at Cumberland's, and a lot of things within a game can dictate how that can shift.
Sure, yeah.
But an impressive performance by them.
It was, and they've played some teams really close. Providence, who's a ranked team, they took Providence to overtime, and so they've hung in there with a lot of schools this year, and they came out. They've got some really good pieces, and we maybe the air we let a little air out than we shouldn't have after the win at the University of the Cumberlands, and something that teaches us we just can't let any team in, and hopefully we can continue to get those wins, but not let anybody. We just can't have any times where we slide. We're going to get everybody's best effort, I think.
And you get back home, and that game against, you get the doubleheader, the weekend, I guess, series with Bethel and Freed-Hardeman, a couple teams from the western part of Tennessee, so they make the long trip up, and all that goes with the weather that comes in. So now you're starting to kind of consider options of, we're going to get these in, as a postponement possibility. Then you kind of feel like you're back in COVID maybe. You start to kind of try to get out in front of and ahead of things. But Chris Nelson said, no, we're going to get there. Same for Josh Epperson. Fortunately, they were coming to Lindsey Wilson. So once they got into this area, you felt pretty good about it. Still made the decision to slide the games up Thursday, and any it does give it maybe a little national term. You've got to kind of go with the flow.
You do,
where the game may shift or how you may have to prepare. So it maybe kind of helps out later down the line. It's not quite as consistent as you might think.
It does, and the kids have to be able to handle some change and handle a little bit, not adversity, but just being able to adapt to situations. And then you're always thankful for the officials at times like that, because you're asking them to drive in from places. Freed was here, Bethel was here, the officials weren't here. So they're taking a big leap of jumping out and coming in and helping us get these games, and we really are appreciative of that. And everybody that comes together, you move a game up and everybody thinks, oh, you just move the game up. But when you move the game up, you're having to move everybody, just, all the production people, everybody that's in charge of helping. So we're really appreciative that people are willing to jump in and help us out when that happens.
And you get a double-figure win over Bethel, and it is a Bethel team that's been playing really well. Callan Howard, their point guard, goes down, and it really changes. You know that. You've lived it firsthand over the years, especially think about the Leanne Grider national tournament once, mid-season down the line after that. So it can change things, and it's hard to fix that on the fly.
Sure.
Coach Nelson's trying to adjust and put kids in spots to be successful, and in some ways maybe it's good to get them on the early part of that, because later they'll have that figured out a bit more.
I think he's got some freshmen that he's really going to start putting in that rotation, and I think can really help him in the long run. And Chris is never a quitter. He's never anybody that's going to just throw the towel in. He's got some very good, talented pieces, and I think he'll get it figured out. They'll get it figured out. you never want to see a kid get injured. He reached out to me as soon as he got out of the gym, because I think he does know that I know how he feels, and you just get sick to your stomach for that, because he's a very good guard, and they were playing great basketball. But I think, like I say, time will tell. I think they'll get themselves back out there.
And Maddie Boyle put in 18 points in that ball game. She's before we get to the Freed-Hardeman game, Coach, she's playing as well as anyone in the league, maybe as well as anyone in the country. What she's doing in her final go-around of college basketball, it's kind of like a breakout of the senior, but I think it's always been in there. She's always been capable, but right now the confidence is through the roof.
The consistency with her right now is just phenomenal, offensively, defensively, just her. And they're having some issues in the family. Her grandfather's sick. It's just been an absolute roller coaster to them for over 60 days. My heart just goes out to the entire family, but they have battled. They've got Maddie, and she's been here. She showed up. She hasn't missed a beat. She showed up for her team every single day, and I'm so proud of her and just the person that she has just grown into. And it shows from the personal side, and then it shows on the floor. Man, she's playing exceptional basketball. She's so much fun to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. The Lady Tigers playing terrific basketball as a club as well. We'll step away here. We'll come back on the backside of this break, and we'll look at the numbers that made up the win over Freed-Hardeman on Saturday. We'll also look ahead. Campbellsville welcomes Lindsey Wilson College to the Powell Center Thursday evening at 5:30. So stay with us here on Tiger Timeout.
If you love them enough to relearn math so you can teach them math, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're correctly buckled in the back seat.
Tiger Timeout continues here on the Campbellsville University Sports Network. Matt Payton with you as we put a bow on the previous week for Campbellsville's women's basketball team. This coming week, they've got Lindsey Wilson College on Thursday evening in the Powell Center. It's a 5:30 start, coverage beginning at 5:15. But Coach, let's take a look at that Freed matchup. You get the 4-point win. It was a 62-58 final over the Lions. Courtney Pritchett with 11 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. Got you guys rolling early. Maddie Boyle with 11 points, Caitlin Wilkes 10 points, a couple of assists for Kit Kat. And Coach, you look at that score, Freed-Hardeman holds you to a season low 62 points. I don't think that's a surprise, really. They're a really good defensive team. They've given up about 47 points a game. Coach Epperson's club did a really good job defensively. And as we've talked, those are the ones that prepare you most down the line, winning a tight one, late, pressure-packed environment.
Yeah, they guard us a little bit different than anybody's guarded us this season, so that just gives you an opportunity to go back and work on things. And so it was a good opportunity for us. And then, it's so good to, after the fact, not during the fact, but it's so good to have those close games where you have to score and have to do some things, which we didn't hit free throws down the stretch. We did jump out and get a decent lead. We were up 12 or so and didn't hang on to that. They had some kids that normally don't hit shots that hit some shots, and that's going to happen too. And it was a good win for us just to be able to grind that one out when I feel like we weren't playing our best.
And they made life really difficult. We had put out the note on Maddie Boyle potentially setting the school record. I think she probably did, but we'd have to go back and maybe double check a few from Coach Wise's days, but probably did break Emily Fox's consecutive game string. I blamed her dad for that. He's the one that put us on that nugget, and then she didn't hit one on Saturday. But they did a really good job on Maddie Boyle, and they were pretty active, if memory serves me correctly, trying to come across and help on a lot of stuff with the post and making life difficult on Caitlin Wilkes and Kayla Luby, and that really puts that emphasis on a Courtney Pritchett. When she can get going and stretch, it changes things.
Yeah, it does. It changes those things. And, like I say, overall, we just don't have a person that we have to go to, and that's the beauty, I think, of our team. If they're going to face guard Maddie, that's fine. Let them face guard her. She still ended up with double-digit points, and then we had other people. Courtney Pritchett could step up every game. As a matter of fact, I would love her to step up every game and get those shots. So it's a good thing to just be able to experience all the different looks and still come out with that win.
Yeah, I think Lauren Lee had 4 and 1 trips over the course of the 2 games. A couple of them just absurd. Anyway, that's what we've grown accustomed to seeing from the old point guard. Things get no easier this coming week. Coach Lindsey Wilson College comes to the Powell Center. We'll look at the numbers that make up this matchup Thursday evening. The Lady Tigers 17-1, the Blue Raiders 14-5, and you can see there some of the numbers. A really good free throw shooting team. They rebounded really well. Lucy Patterson does a nice job for Coach Wethington. She's the reigning conference player of the week, and maybe a bit of a slow start for Coach Wethington.
Yeah.
Not to be, no surprise because he's bringing in some new pieces and getting them acclimated. Yeah. But here you can see mid-season they've really turned it on.
He has his point guard back. He has Lucy Patterson back. Sydney Hall, who's battled a little bit of an injury, he has her back. So some really good pieces back, and then he's added some kids with that, just blue-collar kids. And so I think that's what he's seeing now. Those blue-collar kids are winning those games for him, and they're working hard for him. No real standout in the scoring category. Lucy is a real standout rebounding, and they just get the job done. And they've really just fell into their own. And RPI-wise, they're top 25 team, and a team that we cannot overlook and cannot take lightly because they'll come in and give us what they've got.
And just when you think maybe you've got this league figured out, that it's going to be kind of, Freed and then maybe Bethel, and obviously it's still a long way to go, but then all of a sudden Lindsay, after maybe that slow start, they put the league on notice. They get Bethel and Freed at home this past week, so they're riding a little. They feel good about themselves coming in here to the Powell.
They sure do, and they should. They've won some good games. A good win over Oakland City. Played a Providence team who's ranked really, really close, and so there's not a team that we'll take lightly at all. It's our only game this week, and we've got to stay focused because I know the girls have got some Saturday dreams in their heads, but we've got to get our Thursday game going first.
We don't want those dreams shattered.
I know, right?
Thursday evening. The Lady Tigers do have Saturday off. It's a maroon out on Thursday, so if you are able to get to the Powell Athletic Center, make sure to wear your maroon. I'll have the maroon pants on. It's a Lindsey Wilson, so we save the maroon pants for special occasions. Let's take a look at the schedule ahead for Campbellsville University and the Lady Tigers. Again, the Blue Raiders come here Thursday evening. They are off on Saturday. It's their day off in the rotation of the Mid-South schedule. Georgetown College on the road February the 1st, and then they get a pair of those games that they open the season with, Cumberland University and Cumberland's back at the Powell Center. And in no time, you'll have a rematch with the Blue Raiders over at the Bigger Sports Center in Columbia, Kentucky, Coach. So you've reached the portion of the schedule crazy enough to think you've got one more game left in January, and then you're at the stretch run of February.
Yeah, it is insane to think about, and I feel like we're in a gym every night, and that's okay. That's what we do, but it's exciting times and times where we got to buckle down and really get ourselves rolling.
Best of luck Thursday night.
Thank you.
Coach Ginger High-Colvin and the Blue Raiders of Lindsey Wilson College. Well, the Lady Tigers and the Blue Raiders will do the battle. It won't be Coach. Maybe John Wethington and you will.
We will.
We'll duke it out a little bit. But the rivalry matchup, the Battle of Highway 55, Thursday evening in the Powell Center, 5:30 the start time for the women's matchup. We'll step away here, take a timeout, come back and visit with the head coach of Tiger basketball, Brent Vernon, here on Tiger Timeout.
Jason, let's go see your room.
That's not right. How was it? Is it good?
Welcome back to Tiger Timeout. We continue here on the Campbellsville University Sports Network. Matt Payton visiting now with the head coach of the Tigers. Brent Vernon joins us. Campbellsville University splits a pair of games at home this past week in the Powell Center. They look ahead to a date with Lindsey Wilson this week as well. Montreat College visits on Saturday. Coach, a busy schedule upcoming. We took the week off last week with all the snow and weather. We'll recap quickly the Cumberland University trip. You go on the road. Cumberland's obviously a special place for you, a top 15 program. You go over there and play. You push them to the absolute limit. It looked like at times you were going to pull that one out. Just needed a couple more buckets down the stretch. Unfortunately, come up short.
Yeah, we did. Played well, played hard. Very good team. Explosive offensively. It was just a back and forth game from opening tip to the end. And missed shot here or there, and then them making a shot or two, and they just came out on top. And like I said, that's what conference games are about, hard to win on the road, and it's proved to be the case for us so far this year.
Yeah, and you go to Lebanon, Tennessee on that Saturday, and I think to your point, hard to win on the road. That's a Cumberland team that you really wanted to win that game. It's one that you look at their non-conference schedule and you start to look at the paper trail and you say this is one we can get. They played pretty well. You guys did not have a great afternoon. We've talked about it. Maybe one of your worst performances of the season in a spot where you needed something better, and that's how it goes. It's just tough to win in this league.
No, it is, and it's one of those that we've had a good year still to date, and a very emotional game on Thursday that our guys, I think, felt like they should have won. Maybe a little hungover from that, just not getting by it because our guys are very motivated. They've got a lot of lofty goals for themselves, so I think they knew it sort of slipped away, and sometimes you get in the way of yourself sometimes. And we've had some performances that haven't been our best all year, but it was just the wrong time. We sort of laid an egg, and that's just sometimes you got to be truthful about it and have the reality about it, but didn't play our best, and I give Cumberland U a lot of credit. They made some shots, played harder than we did, and whenever you do that, you sometimes get rewarded, and we got what we deserved.
Yeah, and that set up a game Thursday at the Powell Center with Bethel that was really important for both of you, looking for your first win in league. They had already battled Freed-Hardeman and gotten beaten pretty good, and here they come to town. They want one. Yeah. You obviously want to hold serve at home, a nip and tuck game, a very fun basketball game to watch, even down to the last couple of minutes. You're still on the edge of your seat, but you guys were able to pull out a 7-point victory.
We did. Big win. Played really well, came out of the gates hot and played well, and then I give Bethel credit. They really settled down on the road and took the lead, and I think, I'm not even sure, maybe had a 7 or 8 point lead. They did a nice job of the late first half, early second half of gapping us a little bit. And then we got on a good run, got some stops that we needed. They're a very tough team to play, playing really fast. They're long, they're athletic, they're strong, very good offensive rebounding team. You get into conference and some of these teams, it's more football than it is basketball, and it's like that with Bethel and Cumberland's and Freed-Hardeman. And our guys really battled. I thought we showed a lot of grit, and we turned that 8-point deficit into a 7-point win.
And I thought it was fitting for Chandler Clements one more time against Bethel here at the Powell Center. He spent 2 years playing for Coach Jeff Britt down there in McKenzie, and he had 22 career bests for his time as a Tiger in a big spot when you guys needed it. It was it was one of those kind of storybook type of things that was really made the game maybe feel a little more special.
It was incredibly efficient, 8 of 10 from the field. Just played really well, and we needed someone to step up, that it wasn't always Jace or Darius scoring, Kobe getting some points. But I thought Chandler did a really good job, along with a lot of other guys. And late in the game we had to make free throws, and we did. Through 4 games, our team's shooting, I think, 80% from the foul line. Our one knock was Cumberland U. Like I said, that egg, it sort of spilled over on all facets of the game. If we had made free throws, I think at Cumberland U, we'd probably get that win as well. So, a lot of good things happened, but Chandler, I'm so proud of how he stepped up in a big moment for us and for our team, and hopefully to build off of that.
You get Freed on Saturday. They come to the Powell, and that's a top 10 team. We'll look quickly at the numbers for the Tigers there. Freed-Hardeman has been so impressive throughout the year, and if you watch that game and you left the Powell Center, or whether it was online watching or locally, you kind of realize that team's pretty good. 84-69 the final score. Kobe Penny had 16 for you, Coach. 5 rebounds. Darius Harding with 16, and Tyrell Hunt 10 off the bench. I thought Noah Gordon had a nice second half as you guys tried to keep that thing alive and tried to make a comeback bid. And you and I talked a bit this week. It was really the final handful of minutes of the first half that dictated and decided that game, and it allowed them to have that lead going into half. And you played them nip-tuck in terms of that deficit. The second half, you just couldn't. You never really were able to make inroads.
No, it was a very good game. Take away maybe that 5-minute stretch, and it was still good. Other than that, our guys again battled. 5 or 6 point game, 5.5 minutes to go. They go on a big run to end the half and ended up being up 17. And against teams like that, you just got to be able to secure the ball better than we did. They're incredibly physical. The number of turnovers we had led to that many points off turnovers, and that's just a stat that we can't have. All the live ball turnovers led to easy transition baskets for them for the most part, and that's stuff that we've got to be better at. I thought second half we did a really nice job of sticking to what we were trying to do. We wanted to take a 20-minute half and turn it into 4 quarters and win every 5 minutes, and we won the first 5 and we won the second 5, but we won by 1 and 2, so we're still got a pretty big gap there. Had a couple shots where we had around 13 or 14 good 3-point looks that could have got it to 10. I always kept thinking if we could get it to single digits, that's whenever the opposing team starts maybe panicking just a little bit. Just never could quite get there, and give credit to Freed.
Yeah, they continue to climb in the polls, up to 7 now, so you've got a pair of teams that you've seen already that are top 10 at the moment. So again, that Mid-South schedule, it's tough in the Mid-South. We'll step away here. We'll take a break, come back. The Tigers have a big one on Thursday as the rival from up the road, Lindsey Wilson College, will come to campus. We'll talk with the head coach about that one. They also play Saturday against Montreat. Keep it right here on Tiger Timeout.
When you look at the number of disasters in the U.S., chances are every area will deal with some kind of emergency in the next decade. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
Closeout segment of Tiger Timeout this week. Matt Payton with you as we continue to look at Tiger basketball. They're back in action this week. It's a doubleheader with the Blue Raiders on Thursday. A maroon out in the Powell Athletic Center, so make sure you throw on the maroon. Come out and support Campbellsville's men's and women's teams. Coach, it's always fun. You get together with the Blue Raiders. It has been a while. We've talked about this. Been a while since a Thursday. We shall not speak of reasons why, but it's been a while since we've had a Thursday. And for small college basketball at this level, when you get the intense environment that you're going to have Thursday, it's kind of fun. You've got Campbellsville and Taylor County are going to play tonight, and then you've got Lindsey Wilson and Campbellsville in the NAIA on Thursday. It's some really good environments for basketball, and none better for NAIA level.
No, I agree. It's so fun. As you said, since my second year as the head coach here, we've not had a Thursday night game with Lindsey, so exciting for that. Not sure if our guys and girls quite understand it because they haven't been here for that, but it's always a jam-packed night. You know, sometimes, nothing against Powell. It's sometimes fun to go on the road for these games too with that kind of atmosphere, but we're expecting a big crowd. We need a big crowd, a big game for both women and men. and it's one that our guys are looking forward to.
I'm telling you, some of the best performances by your teams in your tenure have been at Georgetown when it's been a wild. You didn't get them all. I know Tavion Mason and that group got one once upon a time, but it's something about that, and you think that's a negative, but it almost at times can work in favor of a visiting opponent.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, whenever your backs are against the wall and you're outnumbered, you rally the troops, and that's part of it. But I think at Powell, we've really played well. We've played well, and we've had good crowds, and like I said, we really need our fans and our students to show up in droves for Thursday night, because it's a big game for us, and we need it to be loud. We need to be we need to get after Lindsay, both off the floor and on the floor, and we need to win on Thursday.
The Blue Raiders went to Georgetown. They won their first game of the season in league play, knocking off at that time a top 10 Georgetown club. So you know that they're capable of winning games on the road against good teams. And for you guys, you're trying to figure out maybe some new pieces for the Blue Raiders. You've seen them a little bit, but they've added a piece or two at the break, and kind of changes the dynamic for Coach Chris Starks a bit.
Yeah, probably his most talented player got eligible at the break. He had a point guard also who got hurt, who actually played in their last game about 7 or 8 minutes. So they're getting some pieces together. It's one of those that unfortunately they got some and we've lost some, but that's the way it goes. But for us, we're still fighting for something in our conference, just like Lindsay. And both of us, you can say backs against the wall. You've got 2 teams that have sort of separated themselves early, and you've got 5 teams that are jumbled up. And we're only a half game out of 3rd place, and a win on Thursday would be a great start in getting our name back into the conversation. It seems sometimes like it's glim and everything, but we're still 13-5. Our record's good, and the only thing you got to do is put together a 2, 3, 4 game stretch like we're capable of doing, and we're right back in the thick of things. So we've had really good 2 days of practice. I'm excited going into tomorrow, and I feel like we'll be ready to go.
And let's take a look at some of the numbers that make up this matchup. Again, 7:30 the start time for Campbellsville and Lindsey Wilson. The Tigers 13-5, the Blue Raiders 10-8 on the year. Campbellsville averaging a few more points per ball game than the Blue Raiders, but some of the other numbers fairly close to one another. That free throw shooting percentage has been impressive, Coach. So it should be a fun one with Lindsey Wilson. And then as we look ahead in terms of your schedule coming up, you've got obviously the game with Lindsey Wilson College, and then you get out of conference action with Montreat on Saturday. So you've got the Blue Raiders, then Montreat, then right back into Mid-South play, Georgetown, Cumberland University, and Cumberland. So the schedule for you remains fairly consistent. You don't get that Saturday off, and it's always funny on the back end. You look at that schedule, and at times you may say, well, whatever you do, you probably feel different. I wish I would have had this date off, or I wish I would have found an opponent here. So you never know how it's going to play out once you get into the thick of the season. But you're still working through some stuff, and having some extra action is not a bad thing.
No, we are. And, we haven't played non-conference in the middle of our conference in a while. And it's one of those, when you don't and you have that day off, you're like, oh, it's nice to have a day off, but you'd like to stay sharp. Well, now you're playing on a Saturday, and it's a non-conference, and it's nothing against Montreat, very good team, but we won't put any time into them until Friday morning, because you can't look past Lindsay. Conference games right now just mean more than non-conference, and whenever we get in there Friday morning, we'll look. But I just don't know much about Montreat right now other than the conference they're in. They've always been very competitive and well coached, but it's not an easy opponent in the non-conference during the conference season as a non-conference opponent. So we'll have to be ready. It'll be good to get 2 at home, hopefully, and like I said, just get this thing back going in a positive way for us.
And maybe, too, if nothing else, Montreat does kind of put a bit of your maybe 2 biggest rivals, Lindsay and Georgetown. It does give you a little separator there before you stay amped up for that week before you go to Georgetown.
I think it does. It's just one of those that you don't have as long of a wait for that game, because the anticipation can get to you at times. Again, we're on a good schedule of Thursday, Saturday. We have that the rest of the way. So I think it's good to stay on that schedule. Our guys know what to expect and come in ready to work, and know what the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday looks like prior to Thursday. So, again, we're excited for these 2 games and looking to get back on track.
Best of luck this weekend.
Thanks, Matt.
The Tigers and Lady Tigers in action Thursday. Lindsey Wilson College comes a-calling to the Powell Center. That is a 5:30 start on the women's game. The Tigers follow at 7:30. Coverage begins at 5:15. For the head coach, Brent Vernon, as well as the head coach of the Lady Tigers, Ginger High-Colvin, I'm Matt Payton. We'll see you next time on Tiger Timeout.